Alright, you're back. Glad you made it. Come on in, have a seat. You doing alright? That's good. Now you're going to do even better because you're in the house with the gaming mobster. And we're going to talk some gaming for a little bit. How's that sound, kid? Anyway, the big news these days is this AI stuff and how it affects creativity and art and culture and whatnot. You've seen the AI art, you heard the AI music, you've even seen the AI not safe work stuff if you catch my drift. Now, there's a lot of good uses for AI, just like there's a lot of bad ones. There's a moral gray area at best when it comes to the use of AI. So it's not all good, it's not all evil either. But I'm not here to talk about that though. I actually want to talk about is crossovers. We like a good crossover, don't we? Marvel versus Capcom, Capcom versus SNK, Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Maybe you forgot about that one. Project X Zone, Warriors Orochi, Smash Brothers. What's that one? Jump All Stars or whatever it's called. I forget its name off the top of my head, but you get the idea. So one of the Dragon Ball characters, Naruto and Bleach all in one. You know, all that stuff. Now, of course, one crossover I've been thinking about is SNK versus Marvel. I know that doesn't exist. So what I decided to do was I decided to check out this ChatGPT stuff, this AI stuff that kids are talking about, and come up with a proposal for a possible SNK versus Marvel video game. And the results were kind of interesting. I remember the thing about AI is, in most cases, it doesn't really generate stuff, it kind of aggregates it from other sources. So ChatGPT isn't always accurate when it comes to certain things, but we're going to go into my little conversation with it, and we'll break it down and discuss it. Hopefully somebody from SNK or hopefully somebody from Marvel is listening. So, let's hop on over. Alright, so here is our little conversation. As I kicked it off, give me a pitch for a possible Marvel vs. SNK fighting game. And here's the pitch from ChatGPT. Marvel vs. SNK is a dream matchup for fans of fighting games. Imagine iconic Marvel superheroes like Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Captain America facing off against classic characters from the SNK fighting game universe, such as Terry Bogard, Kyoku Tsunagi, and Mai Shiranu. Players can choose from a roster of characters from both universes, each with their own unique moves, special attacks, and superpowers. Marvel characters could use their abilities like web slinging and adamantium claws to their advantage, while SNK fighters can unleash their trademark moves like Burning Knuckle and Orochi Nagi. Now, of course, you notice like they don't actually mention which characters have what, but you get the idea. They seem to know what SNK is. The game could feature different modes such as story mode, arcade mode, and online multiplayer, allowing players to test their skills against players from around the world. In addition, Marvel vs. SNK could also feature stunning graphics and special effects that showcase the powers and abilities of each character, bringing the intense action and excitement of the fighting game genre to a whole new level. That sounds exciting and generic, but exciting still. Overall, Marvel vs. SNK will be a must-play for fans of both Marvel and SNK, offering endless hours of thrilling gameplay and exciting matchups between some of the most beloved characters in gaming history. What would the roster of this game look like? Let's go all out and make this a big roster. Sure, let's create a big roster for Marvel vs. SNK. Here are some characters that could be included. So they came up with a cast of 40, so not bad so far. Marvel side: Spider-Man, Wolverine, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Deadpool, Black Panther, Storm, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Ghost Rider, Scarlet Witch, Ant-Man, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, and Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Blade, and Silver Surfer. It's a pretty well-rounded roster. You got most of the big names. It's similar to what I would pick. I'd probably throw NFL Super Pro somewhere on the list, but other than that, I'm not complaining. because they came up with for SNK. Terry Bogard, Fatal Fury, Kyo Kusanagi, King of Fighters, Mai Shiranui, Haomaru, Nakaruru, Ari Yagami, or Iori, or however you pronounce it, Rugal Bernstein, Geese Howard, Anthena Asamiya, Benimaru, Shiki from Samurai Shodown, Genjuro, Ryo Sakazaki, Yuri Sakazaki, Chang Kohen, Joe Higashi, Kim Kaplan, Andy Bogard, Kate Ash, and Ash Crimson. It's a pretty good roster so far. Let's see. I'm surprised nobody from the Akari board is on there. I'd probably swap out Shang for Leona or maybe Clark and Ralph, but other than that, no complaints. Seem to notice though a lack of villains on here though. This is just a sample roster, but it should give you an idea of the type of characters that could be included in a Marvel vs. SNK game. With such a diverse and exciting lineup, the game would have something for everyone and will be a true celebration of both the Marvel and SNK universes. What villains would they face? Who would be a good final boss? Or would there be multiple bosses? Great question. There are so many great villains from both the Marvel and SNK universes that will make excellent opponents for our heroes. Here are some potential villains that could be included. Marvel villains: Thanos, Doctor Doom, Magneto, Green Goblin, Loki, Red Skull, Ultron, Kang the Conqueror, Venom, and MODOK. Of course, at least two of these can't really be considered villains, and one of them is kind of a villain, kind of ain't, but good lineup. Now for SNK villains: Rugal Bernstein, Orochi, Gonitz, Mukai, Amakusa, Shirotoki Sada, Mizuki Rashojin, Geese Howard, Wolfgang Krauser, General Morden, and Shao Kahn, Mortal Kombat. That's not SNK, but we'll forgive that one. Yeah, I don't think SNK is really known for having like a whole lot of key villains, maybe beside Rugal. I think I would be perfectly content with just Omega Rugal or something like that. As for the final boss, there are a few different directions that could be taken. One option would be to have a crossover villain, such as a character from both universes merging together into a powerful foe. Another option could be to have two separate final bosses, one from each universe, with the player having to defeat both to truly complete the game. Or alternatively, the final boss could be a powerful entity from one of the universes, such as Galactus from Marvel or Orochi from SNK. Nice. No matter which direction the game chooses to go, there are plenty of exciting and challenging opponents that our heroes could face, making for an epic and unforgettable fighting game experience. What kind of backgrounds could we use for this game? The backgrounds for a Marvel vs. SNK game could be diverse and exciting, drawing from both universes to create unique and memorable stages. Here are some ideas for potential backgrounds. Marvel backgrounds: New York City skyline, Avengers Tower, SHIELD helicarrier, Wakandan jungle, X-Mansion, Sanctum Sanctorium, The Raft, Asgardian Palace, Stark Industries Laboratory, Sokovian City. Nice. SNK backgrounds: Japanese Temple, Chinese Marketplace, Ancient Ruins, Snowy Mountain Peak, Arabian Desert, European Castle, High-Tech Laboratory, Futuristic Cityscape, Underwater Temple, and Martial Arts Dojo. So the SNK ones do kind of seem pretty generic, but then again, like, I don't think SNK is pretty known for having iconic backgrounds. Maybe the Pow Pow Cafe. Maybe there's the Pow Pow Cafe from the Fatal Fury games. The what's the word I'm looking for? A dojo from the Art of Fighting games. But other than that, or maybe like keep forgetting this stuff. The Sky Noah ship from Rugal stages. Each background could feature dynamic elements such as destructible environments, interactive objects, and hazards that the fighters must avoid. For example, in the Wakandan jungle background, the fighters could have to dodge the attacks of a rampaging rhinoceros, while in the Arabian desert background, sandstorms can make it difficult to see and move around stage. The backgrounds could also be interactive, allowing fighters to perform wall jumps, bounce off objects, and use environmental elements to their advantage during fights. Overall, the backgrounds could add a new level of depth and strategy to the gameplay, making each fight a unique and thrilling experience. That's a pretty cool idea. You don't usually see interactive backgrounds in SNK fighting games. Like I know like the Fatal Fury games had that thing where you can like jump back and forth between two planes, but you get the idea. But interactive backgrounds could be cool. Would there be any DLC characters? How about guest characters from other franchises? It's definitely possible that a Marvel vs. SNK game could have DLC characters added to the roster after release. Here are some potential DLC characters from both universes. Deadpool, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Blade, the movie version, Sentry, Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, Omega Red, Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew, Jessica Jones, and Taskmaster. Let me check back up there because I think I saw She-Hulk up there. It had Deadpool and Blade. Of course, that was just our suggested roster. For SNK DLC characters, Rock Howard, Kula Diamond, Oswald, B. Janae from Mark of the Wolves, Shermie, Yashiro, Mina Majinkina, Kim Soo II, Tung Fu Ru, Jubei Yagyu. Who is Kim Soo II? Or do they mean like Kim Kaplan? Oh, Korean detective. Oh, from Kizuna Encounter. I should know this, being an SNK fan and all that. I'm about to get my SNK fan badge revoked. Yeah, he's actually from, he's a background character. Yeah, he was in Kizuna Encounter. That's where he was introduced. That'd be pretty cool. So, props for ChatGPT for knowing what Kizuna Encounter is. Alright. In terms of guest characters from other franchises, it's always possible, but will likely depend on licensing agreements and partnerships. Here are some examples of guest characters that could be included. Ryu from Street Fighter, Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Dante, Cloud Strife, Geralt of Rivia, Kratos, Lara Croft, Solid Snake, Master Chief from Halo, and Geralt of Rivia. Yeah, they listed him twice. Including guest characters could add an extra layer of excitement to the game, as players will be able to battle with their favorite characters from other franchises. However, it's important to keep in mind that this will require cooperation and agreements with other companies and may not be feasible for all characters. Yeah, of course we want to avoid adding too many, otherwise this becomes Smash. But guest fighters would be from outside would be cool. Kind of like in how in Justice 2 you had Ninja Turtles and Hellboy and all that. What about the game's mechanics? Would there be team play, strikers, or perhaps a simplified gameplay system? The mechanics of a Marvel vs. SNK game could be a mix of traditional fighting mechanics and new unique features that take advantage of the crossover nature of the game. One option could be to incorporate team play, where players select a team of 2 or 3 characters from the roster to fight against an opponent team. Players could switch between the characters during the match or perform special team moves that utilize both fighters. Another possible mechanic could be strikers, a feature seen in some previous SNK fighting games. Strikers are support characters that players call upon during battle to perform an attack or provide a temporary boost to their fighter. To make the game accessible to a wider audience, the gameplay could also be simplified compared to traditional fighting games. This could include a more straightforward control scheme and simplified combo system, making it easier for new players to pick up and play. The game could also include a unique tag team system where players can switch between their chosen characters at any time during the fight, allowing for seamless team combos and strategies. Overall, the mechanics of a Marvel vs. SNK game would need to strike a balance between being accessible to new players while still offering depth and complexity for more experienced fighting game fans. Would there be any cameo appearances, perhaps in cinematic backgrounds or even as strikers? Cameo appearances could definitely be included in a Marvel vs. SNK game to add a touch of fan service and excitement for players. Here are some ideas for potential cameo appearances. Stan Lee, the great Marvel Comics legend, could make an appearance as an NPC, providing commentary or guidance during the game's story mode. Not sure how I would feel about it. I'm torn between not knowing how I would feel about this and that actually looking pretty cool. Like have him show up in the text during the tutorial mode. Welcome culture fans to Marvel vs. SNK. Of course, rest in peace to Stan Lee. Won't be possible to have his iconic voice. We may just have that line in the tutorial. Welcome culture lovers. Stan Lee here to show you the ropes all about Marvel vs. SNK. Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., could appear in the background or cinematic, giving orders to the player's Marvel team or providing assistance in some way. Mai Shimeryu, the popular SNK character, could make an appearance as a striker or background character cheering on the fighters from the sidelines. Doctor Strange, Marvel's master of mystic arts, could appear in a background or cinematic, offering assistance or providing insight into the game's story, but isn't he also part of our cast? Geese Howard, the iconic SNK villain, could appear as a boss or hidden character, challenging players to a fight and providing a tough challenge. Wolverine, the clawed X-Man, could make a cameo appearance in the background or cinematic, or even as a striker, offering his help to the Marvel team. Terry Bogard, the popular SNK character, could make an appearance as a striker or background character, shouting encouragement to the fighters and offering support. The Mad Titan could appear as a final boss or hidden character, providing a challenge to players and tying into the MCU. Akuma, the powerful Street Fighter, could make a cameo appearance as a striker or boss, challenging players to a fight and providing a tough challenge. Again, Akuma is a Capcom character, but we're already okay with guest characters, so I don't mind. Including these cameo appearances would add an extra layer of excitement and nostalgia for both franchises, and could also provide unique interactions and storylines within the game's world. Will we have alternate attires for the characters? Yes, having alternate attires for characters is a common feature in modern fighting games, and it could certainly be included in a Marvel vs. SNK game. These alternate costumes could be unlocked through various means, such as completing story mode, participating in online events, or purchasing downloadable content. Here are some ideas for alternate costumes for some of the characters in a Marvel vs. SNK game. Ryu, who is part of Capcom. His classic white gi from the original Street Fighter games, or his evil Ryu appearance from later games. So I guess we're including him as a guest character. Captain America, his classic World War II era suit, or his modern appearance with the chainmail armor. Kyo Kusanagi, his classic King of Fighters 94 outfit, or his NES Saga appearance. Iron Man, his classic red and gold armor, or his Silver Centurion armor from the comics. Mai Shimeryu, her classic Fatal Fury 2 outfit, or her more recent appearance with a blue outfit and a scarf. Hulk, his classic green appearance, or his Grey Hulk appearance from the comics. Terry Bogard, his classic Fatal Fury 2 outfit, or his Garo Mark of the Wolves outfit. Wolverine, his classic yellow and blue outfit, or his brown and orange outfit from the comics. Geese Howard, his classic white suit, or his Nightmare Geese appearance from some of the later King of Fighters games. I don't think there's much of a difference between Nightmare Geese and regular geese. Then again, I'm lying. Here he is. Yeah, that would be a cool alternate. That would actually be a good fit. Another thing I'm surprised that they didn't suggest was Orochi Ari, because he would be perfect for this game. Like, have him in the Riot of the Blood mode. I know we touched on this earlier, but what game modes will we have? We'd have our usual arcade and versus modes, but what about story? Perhaps other single player modes, perhaps something similar to the Star Labs mode in Justice or the Towers in Mortal Kombat? See, I'm trying to get it to steer toward like some bonus style game like that Star Labs, how you had like all those different mini games and they had their own individual storyline. Something like that. Let's see what ChatGPT says. In addition to the classic arcade and versus modes, a Marvel vs. SNK game could offer several other game modes to keep players engaged and entertained. Here are some ideas for game modes. Story mode, a detailed storyline that brings together the worlds of Marvel and SNK with unique character interactions, cutscenes, and battles. The story mode could be divided into chapters with similar challenges and boss fights at the end of each chapter. Challenge Tower, similar to the tower modes of Mortal Kombat, the Challenge Tower could offer a series of increasingly difficult challenges that test the player's skills in various ways. Completing each challenge could unlock rewards like alternate costumes, artwork, or in-game currency. Training mode, a dedicated mode for players to practice their moves, combos, and strategies against a dummy opponent. The training mode could offer various options like recording and playback, hitbox display, and frame rate data information to help players hone their skills. Time attack, a mode where players have to defeat a certain number of opponents as quickly as possible. The time attack mode could offer leaderboard rankings for the fastest completion times. Survival mode, a mode where players have to defeat as many enemies as possible before losing all their health. The survival mode could offer various difficulties, with higher difficulties offering greater rewards. Team battle, a mode where players can choose a team of 3 characters and battle against another team of 3 characters. The team battle mode could offer various rules and options, like tag battles, handicaps, or random character selection. Including these game modes would add more variety and replayability to the game, catering to different types of players and their preferences. So what would the storyline be and how long would it take to complete it? Let's see what kind of storyline this thing comes up with. The storyline for a Marvel vs. SNK game will be a challenging task, as it will require reconciling the disparate universes of Marvel and SNK into a cohesive and compelling narrative. However, a potential storyline could involve the sudden emergence of a powerful new villain who threatens both universes, forcing the heroes and villains of Marvel and SNK to unite and work together to stop this common threat. The storyline could be divided into multiple chapters, each focused on a different set of characters from both universes. For example, the first chapter could feature Ryu and Captain America. Again, this is Capcom, not SNK, but we don't mind. Teaming up to investigate a mysterious energy signature that has appeared in their world, while the second chapter could follow Mai Shireanu and Spider-Man as they track down an artifact that holds the key to defeating the villain. The storyline could culminate in the final chapter where all the characters from both universes come together to confront the main villain in an epic showdown. The length of the storyline would depend on the number of chapters and the amount of content included in each chapter, but it could potentially take several hours to complete. Of course, this is just one storyline idea, and there are many other directions that a Marvel vs. SNK storyline could take. The important thing will be to create a compelling and engaging narrative that brings the two universes together in a satisfying way, while also providing plenty of opportunities for exciting battles and character interactions along the way. Got any more ideas for a story? So I want more of a concrete storyline. Sure, here's another idea for a potential storyline. The story could center around the discovery of a powerful new energy source that has been unearthed in both the Marvel and SNK universes. This energy source, known as the Infinity Stone in the Marvel universe and the Orochi Stone in the SNK universe, has the potential to grant immense power to those who possess it. As news of the Infinity/Orochi Stone spreads, heroes and villains from both universes race to find and claim it for themselves. However, it soon becomes clear that the stone has a darker side. Those who wield its power risk being consumed by it, turning them into dangerous and unpredictable enemies. In the midst of this chaos, a powerful new villain emerges, seeking to claim the Infinity Orochi Stone for himself and use it to dominate both universes. To stop this threat, heroes and villains from both universes must unite and work together to overcome their differences and defeat the villain before it's too late. The story could be told through a series of interconnected chapters, each focused on a different group of characters from both universes. Along the way, players would encounter a variety of challenges and obstacles, including battles against powerful bosses and rival factions vying for control of the stone. As the story progresses, players would have to make difficult choices that could affect the outcome of the game, such as deciding whether to ally with a particular faction or pursue their own agenda. The story could culminate in an epic final battle against the villain, with multiple endings based on the player's choices throughout the game. Overall, this storyline would offer plenty of opportunities for exciting battles, character interactions, and difficult choices, making for a memorable and engaging experience. Alright, that's a pretty cool idea. Of course, it kind of sounds generic just to name the energy source, Infinity Stone, but that kind of works. As far as factions, you could have the Avengers, the Orochi clan, Iori, Hired and his agents, And when that stone powers up and brings out people's bad sides, that's how we could get characters like Riot of the Blood Iori, or Nightmare Geese, or maybe even something like Devil Hulk from the Immortal Hulk series. So who would be our final boss? And would there be a follow-up chapter similar to Mortal Kombat Aftermath? This sounds really interesting. For a Marvel vs. SNK game, the final boss could be a character who is powerful enough to pose a significant threat to both universes. One possibility could be a character like Galactus, who is a cosmic entity in the Marvel universe that consumes planets for sustenance. Another option could be a powerful SNK villain, such as Rugal Bernstein, who has the ability to absorb the powers of his defeated opponents. I don't know about that, but since this is the crossover storyline, we'll probably play with the continuity. Maybe give him a new ability that allows him to absorb like powers and stuff. As for a follow-up chapter, that could definitely be an option. Similar to Mortal Kombat Aftermath, this could be a DLC expansion that adds new characters, stages, and story content to the game. The follow-up chapter could pick up where the main storyline left off, continuing the story of the heroes and villains as they deal with the aftermath of their battle against the final boss. The follow-up chapter could introduce new characters from both universes, as well as new villains who emerge in the wake of the Infinity or Orochi Stone's destruction. It could also introduce new game modes, such as a survival mode where players must face off against endless waves of enemies, or a time attack mode where players must defeat enemies as quickly as possible. Overall, there are many different directions that an SNK vs. Marvel game could take in terms of its final boss and follow-up content. The important thing will be to create a compelling and engaging storyline that brings the two universes together in an exciting and satisfying way, while providing plenty of replay value for players. Thanks! Finally, what platforms will we release this on? Current consoles, arcade, PC, or maybe mobile? For a game like Marvel vs. SNK, it would make sense to release it on a variety of platforms in order to reach as many players as possible. Some possible platforms for release could include current consoles. The game could be released on current generation consoles like the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch, allowing players to experience the game on their home consoles with the latest graphics and performance capabilities. A PC release would allow players to experience the game on their desktop or laptop computers, with the potential for mod support and other community-driven features. Arcade. For fans of classic arcade-style fighting games, a physical arcade release could be a fun and nostalgic option, allowing players to compete against each other in person. Mobile. A mobile release could allow players to enjoy the game on their smartphones or tablets, with simplified controls and graphics optimized for smaller screens. I don't know about a mobile one, even if I did ask about it. Awesome, thanks for your input. You're welcome, it was a pleasure to help. If you have any more questions or ideas in the future, feel free to ask. So I backed out for a while and grabbed my stuff out of my laundry, because I am doing laundry. But I had some more ideas for questions. What if this was something other than a fighting game? Let's find out. You know what? I wonder if we could do this game in a genre other than fighting. Maybe an RPG? That's an interesting idea. A Marvel vs. SNK RPG could be a fun and unique way to bring together the characters and universes from both franchises. Here are some possible ideas for what an RPG like this could look like. Story. The game could feature a new storyline that brings together characters from both universes in a world-spanning adventure. The story could involve the heroes and villains of both universes teaming up to face a common threat, such as a powerful new villain who seeks to conquer both worlds. The game could be a traditional RPG with turn-based combat, party management, and exploration. Players could choose a team of characters from both universes to form their party, each with unique abilities and stats. As the party travels through different worlds and encounters new enemies, they could level up, acquire new equipment, and learn new abilities. The game could feature a variety of different worlds from both universes, each with its own unique enemies, bosses, and environments. Players could explore these worlds to uncover secrets, complete side quests, and gather resources to aid them in their journey. As with the fighting game, the RPG could feature cameo appearances from other characters and franchises. For example, the party could encounter characters from other Capcom or SNK games. Or even characters from other franchises like Star Wars or The Lord of the Rings. Just imagine Gandalf mixing up with Captain America and Terry Bogard. The game could include multiplayer features such as co-op play or player versus player battles. Players could then team up with others to take on difficult challenges or compete against each other in battle arenas. Overall, an RPG like this can provide a unique and exciting way to bring together the characters and worlds of Marvel and SNK. It could allow for more storytelling opportunities and deeper exploration of the characters and their relationships. Any other ideas for genres we can do this in? Certainly, here are a few more genres that could potentially work for a Marvel vs. SNK crossover game. Platformer. A platformer game could feature levels and environments inspired by both Marvel and SNK franchises, and the player could control different characters with unique abilities to navigate through the levels. Boss battles could be a big part of the game, with iconic villains from both universes serving as bosses in each level. Action-adventure. An action-adventure game could have the player control a single character or a team of characters from both universes in a 3D environment. Combat would be a big part of the gameplay, but there could also be puzzles to solve, platforming challenges to overcome, and secrets to uncover. The game could feature a mix of open-world exploration and linear story-based missions. Strategy. A strategy game could feature the character controlling an army of characters from both universes on a battlefield, using tactics and strategy to defeat the enemy army. The game could feature different modes, such as a campaign mode for story, a skirmish mode for quick battles, and a multiplayer mode for online battles. Sports game. That's an odd one. A sports game could have the characters from both universes competing in a variety of sports, such as basketball, soccer, or even wrestling. Each character would have unique stats and abilities, and the game could feature a tournament mode for players to compete against each other. A Marvel basketball game, a King of Fighters, hockey game. It could work though, but probably make it as a side project. Puzzle game. A puzzle game could feature characters from both universes in a variety of puzzle challenges, such as block pushing puzzles, tile matching games, or logic puzzles. Each character could have a unique ability that will help them solve puzzles, and the game could feature a variety of modes, such as a story mode and a multiplayer mode. I think this will be what the mobile game is like, honestly. These are just a few examples, but there are many more genres that could potentially work for a Marvel vs. SNK crossover game, depending on the creativity and vision of the developers. If this wasn't a fighting game, what other developers would you suggest for this game? If we were to explore other genres for a Marvel vs. SNK crossover game, there are many talented game developers out there who could bring their unique styles and gameplay mechanics to the project. Here are a few examples of developers that could be a good fit for different genres. Some developers who are known for making great platformer games include Nintendo, Playful Studios, and WayForward Technologies. I think WayForward Technologies, they did a Thor game that was on DS some years back. Action Adventure. Some developers are known for making great action-adventure games, including Naughty Dog, Rockstar, and Insomniac. A Rockstar developed Marvel game, how would that go? We know Insomniac can do Marvel games, so there's that. Strategy. Some developers who are known for making great strategy games include Firaxis Games. Well, they did Marvel Midnight Sun, so that's a no-brainer. Creative Assembly and Relic Entertainment. Sports. Some developers who are known for making great sports games include EA Sports, 2K, and Konami. I don't know. Some developers who are known for making great puzzle games include Nintendo, PopCap, and Thekla Inc., The Witness, and Braid. Of course, there are many other talented game developers who could also do a great job with a Marvel vs. SNK crossover game, and ultimately the choice would depend on the vision and direction of the project. What pitfalls will we want to avoid while making our game? There are several pitfalls that game developers should be aware and avoid while making a crossover game like Marvel vs. SNK. Here are a few to consider. Lack of balance. It's important to ensure that the game's mechanics are well balanced so that no one character or franchise dominates gameplay. That means each character should have strengths and weaknesses that make them unique, but also that no one character is overpowered. Neglecting the storyline. Even though a crossover game may have popular characters, it's important to have a cohesive and engaging story that ties them all together. Neglecting the storyline could lead to a disjointed experience for players. Focusing too much on fan service. While it's important to include fan service and nods to each franchise, focusing too much on this could lead to a lack of originality and creativity. It's important to strike a balance between pleasing fans and creating a unique and fresh experience. Not enough content. With a large roster of characters, it's important to have enough game modes, stages, and unlockables to keep players engaged. Neglecting content can lead players to quickly losing interest, and moving on to other games. Technical issues. Crossover games can be technically challenging to develop, especially when dealing with characters from different franchises with different gameplay mechanics. It's important to thoroughly test the game to ensure that it runs smoothly and without technical issues. By avoiding these pitfalls, game developers can create a fun and engaging crossover game that appeals to both fans of both franchises and newcomers alike. So one thing I'm disappointed I didn't mention is the avoiding use of microtransactions, loot boxes, and other live service elements. Yeah, I know I suggested the DLC expansion, but that's about it. How will we promote our game? There are several ways to promote a game like Marvel vs. SNK. Social media. Social media is a powerful tool for promoting video games. Developers can use platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to share trailers, gameplay footage, and other promotional content with their followers. Influencer partnerships. Working with influencers and content creators who have large followings in the gaming community can help spread the word about the game. Developers can offer early access to the game and other perks to incentivize influencers to promote it. Conventions and events. Attending gaming conventions like E3 and Comic-Con is a great way to showcase the game and generate buzz. Developers can offer hands-on demos, host tournaments, and give away promotional items to attendees. Cross-promotion. Partnering with other companies or franchises can help expand the game's reach. For example, developers could team up with a popular comic book publisher, DC Comics, to promote the game to their readership. Advertising. Traditional advertising methods like TV commercials, billboards, and online ads can be effective in promoting the game to a wider audience. By utilizing a combination of these promotional strategies, developers can help ensure that Marvel vs. SNK reaches as many potential players as possible. We have a tie-in comic series from Marvel. Absolutely, a tie-in comic series from Marvel could be a great way to generate interest in both the game and expand the game's universe. The comic could feature characters from both the Marvel and SNK universes and provide additional backstory and context for the game's events. The comic series could also be used to introduce new characters and villains that may not appear in the game itself, but could be referenced in the game's story mode or future DLC. Additionally, a tie-in comic series could help to attract new fans who may not be familiar with one or both universes, but are drawn in by the comic's art and story. This could help to further expand the fan base and create a larger audience for future games in the Marvel vs. SNK franchise. One thing I was disappointed that Marvel didn't do with the Marvel vs. Capcom games was create tie-in comics for them, because those would have flown off the shelves. I know there was a comic that came with a special edition of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but that's about it. And I think there were some mangas for X-Men vs. Street Fighter back in the day. But that's about it. But next time Marvel does a crossover with a video game company, they should definitely put out comics. In fact, I remember for Infinite, they just came out with alternate covers for it. So back to the fighting game. What if we did this in teams of 3 like King of Fighters? Can we come up with some team lineups? Sure, here are some possible team lineups for Marvel vs. SNK in a 3-on-3 format. Team Street Fighter, which is not SNK. Ryu, Chun-Li, and Akuma. I don't know if I teamed those 3 up. If we were to introduce a Capcom team, that's who I would go with. So I guess they're guest characters. Team Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor. Team Fatal Fury, Terry, Andy, and Joe. Team X-Men, Wolverine, Storm, and Cyclops. Team Samurai Showdown, Haomaru, Nakaruru, and Yukio Tachibana from SNK. Team Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, Gamera, and Rocket Raccoon. Team Art of Fighting, Ryo Sakazaki, Robert Garcia, and Yuri Sakazaki. Team Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, Venom, and Miles Morales. Team King of Fighters, Kyo Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, or Mai Shiranu. Personally, I would probably replace her with Chizuru and just make that like the 3 Sacred Treasures team. Maybe make an all girls team for who? Maybe Mai, Blue Mary, and King. Or better yet, like make an all Marvel girls team like Storm, Jean Grey, or whoever. Cool, let's come up with a few more, including guest fighters. Sure, here are some more team lineups for Marvel vs. SNK, including some guest fighters. Team Capcom, Ryu, Ken, and Morgan. Capcom guest characters. Team Inhumans, Black Bolt, Medusa, and Crystal, Marvel. Team Metal Slug, Marco Rossi, Tamara Roving, and Eri Kasamoto. Team Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, and The Thing. That'll be more like a Fantastic 3, but hey. Team Tekken, Jin Kazama, Kazuya Mishima, and Heihachi Mishima, Namco guest characters. Team Defenders, Doctor Strange, Hulk, and Silver Surfer. That's a good one. Team World Heroes, Hanzo Hattori, Fuma Kotaro, and John D'Arc. SNK guest characters. Yep. Yeah, I'm surprised that this thing brought up World Heroes, because that's one of my favorite second string fighting games, World Heroes 2. Team Runaways, cool. Nico Minoru, Carolina Dean, and Molly Hayes, Marvel. Team Darkstalkers, Felicia, Morgan, and Dmitry Maximoff. And Team Thundercats, Lion-O, Chitara, and Panthro. Wildstorm guest characters? Let me look that up. Holds the rights to Thundercats. So I'm going to look up their Wikipedia page real quick. Because does Wildstorm? I don't know. Publication history. Well, DC Comics did make a crossover comic. So that'll be DC, and technically DC owns Wildstorm. But you know what? Never mind. With this lineup, what characters do you think Sonic Fox can excel with? Now, keep in mind, I don't know Sonic Fox, but I know of him. I had to take another step there. I don't know Sonic Fox, but I know of him. He's a really big guy in the fighting game community, and he's a furry, but he's cool as hell. So let's see. Sonic Fox is a highly skilled and versatile fighting game player, so they would potentially excel with a wide range of characters in Marvel vs. SNK. However, based on their past performances and preferences, some characters that could be a good fit for Sonic Fox in this game are Magneto. Magneto is a powerful and fast character with a wide range of moves and abilities that can be used to control the battlefield. Sonic Fox has a history of playing Magneto in other Marvel-based fighting games and could potentially use him to great effect in Marvel vs. SNK. Mai Shiranu. Mai is a quick and agile character with a lot of air-based moves and combos. Sonic Fox has shown proficiency with other fast and combo-heavy characters in the past, so Mai could be a good choice for them. Dante. He's another guest fighter. Dante is a versatile character with a range of different weapons and abilities, making him a good fit for players who like to mix up their playstyle. Sonic Fox has played Dante in previous Capcom-based fighting games and can potentially use him effectively in Marvel vs. SNK. Storm. Storm is a character with a variety of different elemental attacks and abilities, making her a good choice for players who like to keep their opponents guessing. Sonic Fox has also played Storm in previous Marvel-based fighting games and could potentially use her to great effect in this game. Ultimately though, Sonic Fox is a talented enough player that they could excel with almost any character in the game, so it will be interesting to see who they choose to play as. By the way, Sonic Fox is probably a shot in a million. If you're watching this, how accurate is that last question? And if you have any input, then feel free to drop below. I know there's like a 1 in a million chance that he would watch this and respond, but in case he is, there it is. So I'm going to try one last time to get a really big cast this time. So one last question. I know we talked about a possible roster, but let's go even bigger. I'm thinking a cast close to that of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or SNK or Capcom vs. SNK 2. Sure, I can definitely come up with a larger roster. Here's a possible cast of characters for a Marvel vs. SNK fighting game with a roster size similar to that of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Capcom vs. SNK 2. So for Marvel, we got Spider-Man, Wolverine, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Deadpool, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Ant-Man, Nova, Moon Knight, Blade, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Punisher, Jessica Jones, Captain Marvel, Doctor Doom, Thanos, and Loki. So, pretty good cast. Of course, this time they left off Miss Marvel, and there's no NFL Super Pro. So, who did come for SNK? Terry Bogard, Ryo Sakazaki, Kyo Kusanagi, Yori Yagami, Mai Shiranu, Andy Bogard, Joe Higashi, Leona Hydern, Athena, Yuri, Kim Kapwan, K-Dash, Shunei from King of Fighters, Nakaruru, Haomaru, Genjuro Kibagami, Charlotte, Galford, Jubei Yagyu, Earthquake, Cham Cham, Hanzo Hattori, Theo Gemini, Marco Rossi, Ralph and Clark. I was about to ask them for guest characters, but they came up with this while I was typing, so that's cool. So we're pretty much going to make this Marvel versus SNK versus Capcom at this point. I'm here for it. So we got Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Morgan, Felicia, Jill Valentine, Leon Kennedy, Dante, Virgil, and Bayonetta. The roster would have a total of 62 characters, which is a similar size to the rosters of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Capcom vs. SNK 2. Of course, this is just one possible roster, and there are many other characters from both Marvel and SNK that could be included as well. Okay, awesome. You know what? I almost don't want to mention them, but I'm just curious. Again, I don't know who this... I know of this guy and of his reputation. I don't know him personally, but I'm just gonna include him here just because, just for shits and giggles. Would low tier god play as? Let's see. It's hard to say for sure which characters low tier god will play as in a hypothetical fighting game with such a large roster. However, based on his preferences in other fighting games, he might gravitate toward characters with strong offensive capabilities and mix-up potential, such as Wesker from Resident Evil, Magneto from X-Men, or Rugal from King of Fighters. He might also choose characters with a high damage output, as he tends to favor aggressive playstyles that focus on dealing damage quickly. Okay, so low tier god, no shade against you at all. Again, on the off chance you could be watching this, tell me how accurate that sounds, and if you have any input of your own, then feel free to drop in the comments. Again, no shade, I'm just curious. So that was my little pitch for a possible Marvel vs. SNK fighting game. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then I'll probably include like a paste bin or somewhere where you can read this yourself. Also, feel free to let me know if you got any input on your own for any characters or how this game should go. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by the results here. Of course, a few times they seem to forget that this is Marvel versus SNK and not Marvel versus Capcom versus SNK, but that's not a bad idea either. And they picked a lot of the characters that I would have picked, except for NFL Super Pro, because he deserves to be in a video game. But yeah, that's about it for that's about it for this video. And I know I flipped my green screen image for a second. But yeah, that is me asking AI to give me a possible look at a possible Capcom versus Marvel versus SNK game. So again, if anyone from Marvel or SNK is watching this, then feel free to take my idea. No need. I'm not leaving no royalty check. Just if anything, just shout me out, and you don't even got to do that. So I just figured I'd have a little bit of fun and just use this to create some new content. So if you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to this on the podcast, then I thank you for being here right now. If you are watching this on the podcast, then make sure you follow me on YouTube. Let me know what you think in the comments. Also, my link tree is in the description, so feel free to reach out to me. I got Twitter, I got Instagram, I even got a few Facebook groups. So I pretty much got several social media platforms. So if you want to reach out to me with any questions or comments or suggestions for content, then do feel free to reach out to me. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I thank you for that. If you're new to the channel, then please consider hitting that subscribe button, clicking that thumbs up icon. I like to go over the retro games. I like to focus on indie games, and the occasional cool piece of technology. Matter of fact, as you recently saw, I started a new retro segment where I'm going to try to upload at least every couple days. It's called the Retro in 3, where I take up to 3 minutes to talk about a retro title. Also, I'm getting ready to restart the Shark Tank, but I'm going to give it a new name. That's where I play demos and give them a grade based on how likely I am to purchase the game once it's out. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be under a new name though, so you're going to want to watch out for that. So again, if you want to be made, if you want to become part of the Mafia, all you got to do is hit that big red subscribe button down there, and then click that little bell icon. That way you'll be the first to know whenever I put out new content. And to those of you listening on the podcast, then again, feel free to subscribe. And if you add me to your RSS, you'll know as soon as I add in a new episode. I plan to add on new episodes and plan to upload them on a more frequent basis, because I know it's been a while since the last one. That was in February and it's almost May right now. So definitely make sure you follow me wherever you're at so you can be plugged into all the new content. And speaking of SNK, I got a series where I'm looking at the King of Fighters franchise. I'm doing a retrospective on the entire King of Fighters franchise, at least the mainline entries. I have the first 4 entries up now, and I'm working on the 5th entry. So if you want to watch that, then please click the playlist link that just popped up on your screen. Until next time, have a great rest of your week, and I'm outie 51,000 G, kinfolk.